Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 5-11, comparing data. Today you'll be able to say I can read and write large numbers. You already should be able to do that. I can develop the meaning of percent as per 100. I can compare large numbers, and I can use a table of information. So let's start with I can read and write large numbers. I'm just going to get this thing out of the way for now. Read and write large numbers, we've been working on them. So we just need to know the place value. So if I tell you to write down 312,842, what would it look like? Well, let's see. It would look like 312,842. You notice once again when I hit the comma, when I got the commas when I said thousand. If it were to add one over here, it'd be 1 million. And when I hit the comma, I say million. Then you say these three digits together, which is 312, then you say the thousand, then 842. So you should be able to really know your big numbers. I'm not going to go too much in depth with those because we've been working on those all week. Okay, next thing is I can develop the meaning of percent as per 100. Alright, so this base 10 grid has 100 blocks in it. If you hear that something is 47%, that is telling you it's out of 100, the percent is. So what you would do on a base 10 block, base 10 grid, you would count out 47. So I know there's 10 in each of these rows, so it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 47 squares. Really, you should fill them all in, but I'm not going to spend all this time trying to fill them in. But we have 47 out of the 100 needed to be a whole. So that's how you get 47%. Okay, let me erase that and do one more quick one with you. So if I said that there were 22% of the people in the United States wore a hat every day, you would color in 10, 20, 2, and this would be 22 out of 100 people wear a hat every day. Granted, that's an average, so if you're not with 100 people, you're gonna be like, I don't get it. Why does it say 22 out of 100? Well, that's just kind of average. If you were to grab 100 people and count them, on average, you'd get 22 out of 100. So that's how, if you ever have a spelling test or you ever have a test that there's 22 problems, you just basically add up how many you got right. Hopefully you get a big number like 97 out of 100 right. That 97 is actually then 97%. So the next part of the lesson, I can compare large numbers. This is where you're going to need to get out your student reference book and turn to page 304. I have it down here somewhere, I think. Right here it is. You can turn to page 304. And when you compare, let's see what the thing says. I can compare large numbers. When you compare large numbers, you're going to do something like this. These are big numbers. Right in the top left here, in the largest oceans and seas, you're going to take a look at it and see that it tells you the largest oceans and seas in the world. Okay, well, let's go to the tallest mountains. Okay, it says Everest is the tallest mountain, K2, and Kanchenjunga. I don't know if I pronounced it right, but let's get Everest and K2 out. Everest is 29,028 feet. K2 is 28,250 feet. So in this chart, which is also one of our last goals, is I can understand a table or read a table for information. If you look at this, you have the chart tells you the order of everything, so it's pretty easy for you. But if they were just all random, you would look in look at how many of them in Nepal. Nepal has a lot of mountains apparently. But if you were to compare the two, you would line them up by each other, and you would see how they each had 2 on the first one. The first digit's a 2. So then if you go to the second digit, I'm going to double underline it because it's a different place value, you'll see that there's a 9 for Everest and an 8 for K2. So the rest of this is, who cares? Because this digit right here tells you that this is bigger than that. So this would be the bigger one. Just by looking at that digit right there of 9 is bigger than the 8. Let's try another one. I'm not going to do it for you this time. I want you to tell me between the Cho Oyu Mountain and the Nanga Parbat Mountain. I want you to tell me which one's bigger of the two. So pause it, write down the feet between the two, and tell me which is bigger. Alright, so the Cho Oyu, and I don't even know if that's pronounced right, but that's okay, is 26,750 feet. The Nanga Parbat is 26,660 feet. So if you were to compare the two, you would say that they both have 2 in the 10,000ths place, the first digit. As long as they're lined up properly, that's the most important thing. They each are lined up at the 1s over here. Okay, those are all lined up, so then everything to the left will fall into place as long as you line them up. But they each have 2 in the 10,000ths place. If you go to the next place, the 1,000ths place, they each have a 6. So they're still the same. They're still the exact same. If you go to the 100ths place, they have a 7 for Cho Oyu and a 6 for the Nanga Parbat. So instantly, who cares about the last 2 digits? Instantly, the Cho Oyu is bigger than the Nanga Parbat. So this would be bigger. Only because of that right there, it tells you it's bigger. It's almost like breaking a tie because we have a 2 and a 2, they're tied. We have a 6 and a 6, they're tied. Now there's a 7 and a 6, no longer tied. This number's bigger, so the Cho Oyu is the winner. Okay, so next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to keep out your student reference book because you're going to need the pages on here. You are going to need the pages because on page 134 in your math journal, also get that out, it tells you that you're traveling to Europe. I'm going to read the directions for you. It is time to leave Africa. Your destination is region 2. Well, let's see. Let's pull up region 2 in the continent of Europe. Okay, if you look closely, you will see region 1, Africa, region 2 is Europe. So this is what you're going to need to look at. And it tells you, you and your classmates will fly from Cairo, Egypt to Budapest, Hungary. Before exploring Hungary, you will collect information about the countries in region 2. You may even decide to visit another country in Europe after you stay in Budapest. Alright, so you're going to use this section, region 2, in the student reference book, it's on page 280, to fill out the sheet here. Okay, I'm not going to do it for you because I would hope that you'd be able to do it on your own. It says which country is in region 2 has, and then what it's doing is all these will finish the sentence. Has the largest population, the smallest area. You need to write the country and then write the population. This is going to teach you, it's going to help you write numbers, write big numbers. Okay, so once you do that section, all from region 2 for Europe, you're going to go to the next part. It says use the climate and elevation. It says use the climate and elevation of capital cities table on page 297. So that means you'll have to go find 297, which is let's see, 297. You have to scroll down, and it is. Sorry, this is probably getting you nauseous. 297s are on this page, so you'll need to answer A, B, C, and D for that. And then the last one, it tells you to use the population data table on page 301. But I want you to make sure you fill in all the categories: the capital, the country, the temperatures, and inches of rainfall down there. And over here, I want you to make sure you put the country and the percent. So you can go back to your desk and work on the rest of it.